markets that they're going to want to make sure that they have special access to the American marketplace. And so that's the trade-off. If I say, look, I'll treat you incredibly kindly on the things that are really important to you, and you bring down your tariffs and give us market access, and let's find the proper place in the middle. And I think if you have the right person on the other side, and what happens is if they put a normal trade minister, it's an endless set of talking and no outcome, because they're used to saying this kind of deal will take 3 years, we'll get this done in 2 years. And that's not really fun for me. So the idea is when they put the right person, and India put the right person on the other side of the table, and we've managed, I think, to be in a very, very good place, and you should expect a deal between the United States and India in the not-too-distant future, because I think we found a place that really works for both countries.
So you're pretty optimistic, it sounds like.
I would say very optimistic would be sort of the way it comes to mind.
And can you speak a little bit from your background? I've known you for a long time. You've looked at capital markets. You're looking at all kinds of moves. Give us a little sense of the Indian economy from where you sit, both in your current role and in your past role, and where do you see some of the biggest growth coming from, and how can the U.S.-India relationship help engender further growth there?
Well, so the Indian economy is extraordinary. Your human capital capacity is amazing. Your growth rate is amazing. But, there were certain things that the Indian government did that generally rubbed the United States the wrong way. For instance, you generally buy your military gear from Russia. That's a way to kind of get up, under the skin of America if you're going to buy your armaments from Russia. So I think India is starting to move towards buying their military equipment from the United States, which then goes a long way. And these kind of things, just creating that relationship, being a part of BRICS,
yep,
right? Which is, let's move to not support the dollar and dollar hegemony. That's not really the way to make friends and influence people in America. So, the president calls that out directly and specifically, and the Indian government is addressing it specifically and directly. And that's how you move on to a really positive place, is put it on the table, address it straight on, resolve it straight on, and get to a really good place. And I think that's where we are.
Mr. Secretary, talk a little bit about manufacturing in India, because obviously there's a number of companies, including a couple of companies here, who are looking to invest further in manufacturing in India. What's your view of that? Do you think the U.S. will be doing more to help push more manufacturing in India, in addition to obviously manufacturing in the United States?
Well, I think the United States wants to bring advanced manufacturing back to the United States of America. All right, that's a key industrial platform for us to bring back domestic manufacturing and reshoring in America. Right? So now there are enormous number of product categories that we are going to be delighted for India to produce. And what we're going to have is you'll sort of have a trade deal that says, look, these kind of industries would be great for India to produce. And in fact, there are enormous numbers of industries that we'd really like to go to India, right? And what happens is you create this sort of trade deal that puts India in a unique position, right? Because it'll have a special relationship with the United States. In certain industries, it will have a better tariff relationship than most other countries in the world, which means India will be the beneficiary of those kind of products. So some will need to be reshored to America, right? But they'll be replaced with incredible opportunity for India, which has one of the most extraordinary economies, one of the most extraordinary, the key that makes an extraordinary economy is the determination of the people. How much do your people care about being in business? How entrepreneurial are they? How much do they drive to be better for their families? And,